And you just don't think he was a great project manager?
No, I don't.
Do you like him as a person?
I like Rod as a person, and I didn't think that I would like Rod as a person before I met him. But
I think a lot of people are liking Rod.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I don't know that we're seeing the real Rod. I think Rod is a much more competitive person than what we're seeing. And I think Rod is being overly nice because, you know, you have some pretty big things to do when you finish with this, right? I think Rod doesn't want to get angry at you because, frankly, there may be some black jurors, and they may be angry that he got angry at you.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
He doesn't want to get angry at Goldberg because I assume you're Jewish. Are you Jewish, Goldberg? Because otherwise you'll be the only guy with the name Goldberg that isn't. And he doesn't want to get angry at the rock star because he wants to keep... You know, it's a very tough... And I don't know what we can say about Curtis. He's like central casting wasp. But no, but when you think about his position, I think he's in a very tough position. And I think you're a guy with great courage. Because I know people that get into trouble and they just want to go home to mommy. I see them fold like a tent.
Mm-hmm.
Now can I make a case for why I should stay?
Yes.
Well, I feel like I thought we had a winning project.
See, even that's great. You know, he doesn't want to hear this. He just wants to go on and win. Okay, so why shouldn't you be fired as the project manager?
Well, we're on a 2-game losing streak going into this. Now it's 3. I think we've made real progress in this last project than we did in the previous 2. I'm trying to make some adjustments within our team, and it's a delicate dynamic. I think we did real good in this project in that we really focused.
Who uses words like it's a delicate dynamic?
A politician. Because you go, what the is he on about?
Which was the wizardry world of Harry Potter. That experience, I think we captured it.
You know, it's actually the wizarding world of Harry Potter.
The wizarding world of Harry
Wizarding.
Potter. Wizarding world of Harry Potter.
Wizarding.
That's correct. We focused on what was the most visually recognized part of that Harry Potter experience, and that was the Hogwarts Castle. I'm very pleased with the decision to make Brett the project manager when I'm going to be away, and all I can do is gather information rather than make some of these decisions by committee, which happens in this kind of a dynamic, to give it to him.
Curtis, how good was Brett?
Brett was very creative, as he always is. All of our creative energy was directed through Brett. We gave him our ideas.
But who was running the task, Brett or Rod?
Brett was.
And do you think that's appropriate for a project manager?
No, I don't.
Well, you could also say it's great delegation. You know, I mean, there's nothing better than somebody that knows how to delegate. He delegated to somebody that obviously did a good job. Goldberg, Brett seems like he was the one who was really in charge. Did you support him?
Absolutely.
Goldberg worked his butt off. This guy was passed out. It was ridiculous, the amount of...
Did you almost pass out?
Yeah.
Well, you come close
Very
to
close.
For a tough guy. You
see
come
what I
close
was
to
wearing
passing
today?
out.
A
No.
tree.
When you see what I was wearing today,
Yeah, but you
you'll
don't
understand.
pass out. Who passes out? You pass out?
Yeah, well, no,
This
I
tough,
never have.
strong
I never
guy.
have
What's
before.
with you, Goldberg? Governor, you relied so heavily on Brett. Will you be bringing Brett back to the boardroom? Governor, you relied so heavily on Brett. Will you be bringing Brett back to the boardroom?
I will not.
Because you think he was good.
I thought he was very good.
Who will you be bringing back to the boardroom?
This is hard, but I would bring Curtis and Michael back.
Curtis and Michael. What do you think of that, Michael?
I expected that.
Why?
Well, because every time we've been in here, you've asked me, Michael, who was the weakest player? And I've said, none of us were weak. We were all great, but Rod was the least great.
So you
and
think
he
he's
took
bringing you
offense to
back
that.
because of the fact that you weren't as nice to him as some others?
Because I ranked him last, yes.
Okay. Curtis, what do you think?
I'm disappointed that that's his choice. I think that, you know, Rod needs to take some responsibility for how he delegated, but he has to choose 2 people, so.
Brett, what do you think of the fact that you ran the task and you lost and you're not being brought back in?
Well, first of all, I feel sick in my stomach that Curtis and Michael have to come back in.
And you don't like to lose so much.
I don't like to lose at all. But at the same time, I thought we did a fantastic job. When he delegated me to do this and Curtis entrusted in me and Goldberg and Michael to get the job done, it makes me sick in my stomach that we lost.
I want to ask just something, because it seemed that the reason that you lost to the Universal management was because of some of the inconsistencies with the story. And you kept saying the wrong title, right, when you were correcting me. You also were saying Hogwarts, and it's Hogwarts, right?
Hogwarts.
You used the term classes instead of houses.
Yes.
It seems that the reason you didn't win was less because of the concept and more because of the actual execution. So I'm just trying to get a sense of who made some of those decisions that might have put it over the edge and had you listen.
Which one of all five of you did the research to see what words they use and so forth? I mean, as a lawyer, if you use the wrong word, you're in serious trouble. But who did that?
Well, this is where I think some of the individual players could have performed better.
No, wait a minute. Did you delegate anybody to do the research, or did any of the five figure maybe we ought to find out more about what makes Harry Potter what it is?
There's no one that you would say was responsible for more of the specific decisions than someone else?
No. I'm responsible for a lot of the decisions, and I embrace it. And I'm not going to throw him under the bus and bring him back here.
But why aren't you bringing him back in? Yeah. He led the team.
He was the guy leading in your absence, so that's what we're confused.
Because I chose him. I believe I chose him correctly. And I think we lost because maybe there wasn't enough help for him while I was gone and enough follow-up for him when I was gone.
But he's the person that you delegated to do the task and you lost.
Well, I would be the one to say, I stood up and I want to say this, if he was to bring someone back in the room and I was in his shoes, I would put my butt right back in this room.
Governor, do you want to change? Do you want to take Brett back instead of Michael or Curtis or whoever?
I believe...
You just thought he was so good that you can't do it.
Brett led the team to a good performance, which seems to be the consensus.
But you lost.
We lost.
And he led the team. Why aren't you bringing him back instead of Michael or Curtis?
Because I don't know that Michael was as strong a player in this task as Brett or Goldberg. And again, it's not a reflection on Michael, and this is not what Michael suggested is. And I believe if you're asking me between Goldberg and Curtis, it's a tough call. But Goldberg's willing to do everything and anything you ask him to do.
Is that true?
Yes.
Who is your most difficult person in terms of running this team?
No one is difficult. It's a little bit tough for me to communicate with Michael just because there's a different vision. That's all.
Michael, should Curtis be brought back, in your opinion?
No.
Should Brett be brought back?
Yes.
Because of the fact that he was so involved?
Yes, because
should you be brought back?
I don't think I should be brought back.
Curtis, should Brett be brought back instead of you?
Yes, I think he should. I think Brett took on the creative vision for the challenge, so I think...
All right.
Let me say, if I could, I think Brett is a real asset on this team. This is the one project manager who won.
I think he's a real asset also, but he's also the person that you delegated to do the task and you lost.
Right, but we could have won maybe if there was a little bit more work in the right direction, possibly, if the other two stepped up. Some of the decisions, again, I think Brett was a superstar. I made the right decision there. And I don't believe we lost because of Brett. What I think happened was...
Well, but he led the task.
Well...
And you did lose.
We did lose. We did
so you lost because of somebody, and it seems to be Brett. And I know what you're saying. He did a good job, but you lost.
We lost, or they won.
Okay, Governor. Do you want to change? You know, as a governor, you have to make decisions. And sometimes you change your mind, and that's for the good of the people.
Right.
For the good of your charity.
Yes.
Do you want to change your mind?
No, I do not.
All right. Brett, Goldberg, you go. Michael, Curtis, Rod, please go to the lobby. You'll come right back. Somebody will be fired. Tough guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a piece of steel. Won't change his mind.
He stuck to his guns.
Puts himself at a great disadvantage.